Good morning, everyone. Time is 11:08, and I'm calling this meeting to order. Welcome to the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission's regular meeting here on October 17th. Mr. Saeed, can you please read the notice of the public meeting?
Chairwoman, this is a regularly scheduled meeting of the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission's 2024 annual meeting schedule. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with the Senator Byron M. Baer Open Public Meetings Act. Notice of the meeting was provided to the Asbury Park Press, Bergen Record, Courier Post, Star Ledger, and the Trenton Times on December 12th, 2023. The agenda and information regarding the in-person meeting and the ability to live stream was also posted on the CRC website. The meeting time and location has also been posted on the website of the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission and with the Office of the Secretary of the State.
Thank you, Mr. Saeed. Can you please take roll call?
Commissioner Barker,
Present.
Commissioner Del Cid Coso,
Present.
Commissioner Nash,
Present.
Vice Chair Delgado,
Present.
Chairwoman Wainu.
Present.
We now have a quorum. The first order of business is for the Commission to go into executive session to discuss legal matters and litigation and investigation updates. These are discussions that are not shared with the public. We believe the executive session should take about 45 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Saeed. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
Madam Chairwoman, I move that we adjourn to an executive session.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Barker. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion passes. So as Mr. Saeed mentioned, we expect the executive session to last about 45 minutes. We will leave the live stream running during that time. So we can expect to resume the public session at, we'll say, 12 o'clock, the top of the hour. Thanks, everybody. All right, so we are back. I won't even bother with the gavel. Time is 12:34, and we will resume the public portion of this meeting. Mr. Saeed, can you please announce the next item?
The next item on the agenda is approving the minutes of the Commission's open session public session held on September 19. The minutes have been shared with the members of the Commission prior to this meeting.
Thank you. If there are no edits to the meeting minutes of the open public session, I will ask for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the minutes of September 19th.
Is there a second?
I second.
Oh, seconded by Commissioner Barker. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Any abstentions? Motion passes.
The next item on the agenda is the Chair's report.
All right, so I first want to start off start today's Chair's report by actually opening the floor for Commissioner Barker to say a brief remarks.
Very briefly, just want to thank you all. I want to thank the people. We've read the news. This may very well be my last in-person meeting. And so with that said, I really want to thank the people. I want to thank the people watching, the advocates. I want to thank the people that come in week after week and let us know of your concerns. You let us know what we're doing right. You let us know what we're doing wrong. And it's been a real joy, a real pleasure to serve you. I thank the administration. I thank my fellow colleagues and the team that I've been privileged to work with. It has truly been an honor. And so excited for this opportunity and excited for future opportunities to come. And so to the advocates, to the stakeholders that made this opportunity possible, thank you, salute, and this isn't the last of us. So take care, everybody. God bless.
Thank you, Commissioner Barker. And so, yes, so the process for the nomination process for a new appointee has begun, but we don't know how long it will take. But we are grateful to the time that Commissioner Barker, you have served on the commission. And so we will savor the moments that remain. So thank you for your service to the state of New Jersey and to the cannabis industry. Are there any questions or additional thoughts that other commissioners wish to share?
I like to share. Hey, Commissioner Barker, I know you and I have been at the opposite end of the policies in a lot of ways. But I just want you to know that I know for a fact that I've made a friend for life. So thank you.
Commissioner Barker? I just want to say, good luck with everything and thank you for your service to the state and the people. We had similar policy ideas and we worked in committees together. So it was a pleasure working with you. And I just wish you the best of luck.
Commissioner Barker and I have worked together since we began, as I have with all the commissioners, and I consider him to be a good friend. I love someone that has the passion that he does and speaks up for people that may not have a voice. And that's really important in this industry because it's still really, it's changing. And I will credit Wes and his team for changing what this industry looks like here in New Jersey. And it's phenomenal. But sometimes we have to be called out on things that we could do better. And I think Charles did a good job of doing that. And who better than someone who is a person of color, a Black man? I can't argue with that. And I'm so glad that you were able to serve for the time that you did. And I'm very sorry that you won't be here anymore.
Yes, Director Riggs.
Commissioner Barker, on behalf of the CRC, thank you for your service to the state of New Jersey. Personally, I'm not sure that the Mets are better than the Phillies, but that is what it is. Anyway, you've been a tremendous advocate for folks in New Jersey, and you've done some good work as a commissioner, and you should be proud of that. So thank you for that, and good luck in the future.
Thank you, Director Riggs. And yes, Commissioner Barker, I'll echo the sentiments of our vice chair. You and I have found ourselves on opposite sides of issues, our fair share of issues, but we also found ourselves on the same side of some very pointed matters where we both felt very strongly that we were trying to push the industry in the right direction. So I thank you for your patience through some of my long spiels and talks about how the state government works and how the ins and outs of the work that we do, and wish you all the best for whatever comes next, whenever that time comes. But we will, as I said before, we don't know how long the process for bringing on a new commissioner will take, but we will continue to relish and savor the moments that we do have. All right, so turning to back to cannabis specifically, I want to address last week's court ruling concerning intoxicating hemp products. So on September 12th, 2024, Governor Murphy signed into law a bill regulating the production and sale of certain intoxicating hemp products. The new law immediately made it unlawful to sell or distribute a product intended for human consumption that contains THC in any detectable amount to anyone under the age of 21 years of age. Yes. Other provisions of that law relating to the regulation of intoxicating hemp products were scheduled to take effect on October 12, this past Saturday. Due to a court order issued on October 10th in the Low Key Brands LLC case, the state is unable to begin enforcement of these provisions at this time. However, the provisions prohibiting sale of those products to individuals under 21 years of age remain in effect. The court's decision is still being reviewed, and the commission will provide updates to the public on any further developments as they become available. Switching gears to our registration clinics, our patient registration clinics. So thanks to our Office of Diversity and Inclusion and Patient and Customer Service team, current and prospective patients and caregivers can once again get on-site assistance with enrollment in the medical cannabis program at any of our MCP registration clinics. Services at these registration clinics include first-time registration, renewing your registration, creating patient or caregiver logins for the MCP portal, and payment. Three clinics will be held in October. November 13th in Newark. There'll be a clinic on November 15th in Atlantic City and November 19th in Trenton. If you've submitted your registration or renewal and are waiting for program approval, you can visit any of these clinics to expedite the process and have access to a digital ID card. And if you attend the clinic at the Trenton location, you have the option to obtain your physical card as well. Details on the clinic locations and what to bring with you are on our website, nj.gov/cannabis. From there, you go to the resources tab and click on MCP registration clinics. Please stay tuned to our website and social media for future opportunities for in-person services regarding the medical cannabis program. Lastly, I want to invite two special guests to come forward and talk about their exciting news, bringing a state-organized technical assistance program to life. So 3 years ago, the NJ-CRC joined forces with the New Jersey Business Action Center to form an interagency work group to come up with effective solutions for offering comprehensive business development support to individuals who wish to establish a cannabis business, but maybe don't have a lot of experience in entrepreneurship or in working in the formal economy. Yesterday, members of that interagency work group got together to unveil the Business Action Center's Cannabis Training Academy. So I want to invite Penny Wild, Deputy Executive Director of the Business Action Center, and Tahid Chappelle, Executive Director of the Cannabis Training Academy, to come forward and talk about the amazing resource that they've put together for our current and our aspiring cannabis entrepreneurs. The floor is yours.
That'd be great. All right, here we go. Good morning. Thank you, Chairwoman Waynu, and all of the commissioners and the CRC team, without whom this would not have been possible. So thank you for all of your support. And on behalf of the Lieutenant Governor and Secretary of State Tahid Chappelle and Melanie Willoughby, who's the Executive Director of the New Jersey Business Action Center, good morning. My name is Penny Wild. I'm Deputy Director, as you said, and I'm with Tahid Chappelle, our inaugural Executive Director of the Cannabis Training Academy. It's been a long road, and we are excited to announce that New Jersey's first Cannabis Technical Assistance Program, educational program, is now live, open for registration, and people are going through it now as we speak. We're going to give a brief overview of the Academy and encourage everyone to sign up and start learning about the industry and New Jersey's licensing application process. So it's our honor and privilege to be designated by you for this educational home for applicants and licensees in the Great Garden State. We appreciate your trust and all of your support that you've provided as we've designed this training and stood it up. There's so many people, from the governor's office and the Secretary of State's office to industry groups, business organizations, and advocates, that if we took the time to thank everyone, we would use up all of our time here. So if anyone missed yesterday's hearing and the shout out that so many of you gave at the launch, then I encourage you to visit the recording at the Department of State's YouTube channel. And our goal this morning, again, is to give you the core curriculum of the Academy, a quick overview, and I will hand it over to Tawhid to kick that off.
Thank you, Penny. Hello, everybody. Oh, mic is working. The purpose of the CTA's core curriculum is to educate the general public about New Jersey's cannabis industry and specifically about the state's cannabis application process. We're offering more than 60 courses that help inform people about the myriad of necessary documents, forms, and necessary steps you'll need to take or accomplish in order to be considered for a license. Again, as mentioned, this is an online, no-cost program that you can pick up anywhere, anytime, on your phone, on your laptop, on your tablet, and you can go through our video and PowerPoint modules and learn about the application process. And as people can see, oh, you can go back, Wes, sorry. As you can see here, and for those that are watching on YouTube, we have more than 10 levels and 60 courses sprinkled throughout our technical assistance program. We take students through a myriad of different topics and themes, from municipal laws and site control, all the way through labor union documentation, and of course, most importantly, SOPs.
So anyone who is a New Jersey resident, age 21 plus, can register at no cost for the Cannabis Training Academy. The core curriculum of the Academy is made up of a combination of videos, PowerPoints, quizzes, text scripts, and audio files associated with each. And in a support for a call to really support impact zones, the governor's office helped elevate the need for more education that would help prospective impact zone applicants and impact zone communities. So for people who've completed levels 1 through 3 and want to go deeper into the licensing process, they can opt in to do so. And in the portal, there's a very short questionnaire that asks an individual to attest to the fact that they are, in fact, living in an impact zone, plan to locate their business in an impact zone, or hire from an impact zone. And we include links to your site to help understand people, to understand what is an impact zone. Do I qualify, and what is it?
So I'll show just a brief glimpse of what the inside of the technical assistance portal looks like. When a person registers, they will be given a whole bunch of information, a whole bunch of content that is at their disposal. Here's the homepage here. You will be able to access the courses directly by clicking on the My Courses at the top of the navigation bar. You can also click on the big graphic there to get into the actual course materials. And then we're also supplementing the technical assistance with a bunch of other things, including webinars, virtual and in-person events, surveys, and newsletters as well. And this is right here, is just a very brief preview of inside of the My Courses page, where we tell people exactly how they need to get into the content. It's super simple. You're able to click on a video, watch the video, go to the next course, and continue through the levels. And right here, we soft launched the Academy yesterday. So we have 5 levels that are ready for public consumption. All these levels are very pertinent to the application process and help people understand to a T what they need to know before they go into the actual process of applying for a cannabis license. Again, levels 1 through 3 are for everybody and anybody who's a New Jersey resident, ages 21 years and older. And then if you are able to qualify yourself as a qualified student, you get access to levels 4 through 10. So right now we have our first 5 levels, and that's about 8 hours of content. If you sat there and watched it, you'll have the whole day there. So there's plenty of there for you.
We're hoping that people may be able to have the application in front of them and kind of go side by side. So when you go through the business plan, that is just the heart and soul of your business. When you're setting your vision and your mission and how you want to give back to the community where you want to locate, like all of that is going to take time. And then we'll also have live Q&As. So when people get stuck along the way, they'll be able to talk to a human. So you won't just be lost in online world. And we're also going to have updates that are done in webinars. So as things come out, as the rules change, it takes time to actually build a course. So we'll be able to have webinars with some of you that may be able to help explain a process or a procedure along the way. So we have the live Q&As, and then we will also have the modules in Spanish. And it does take about a month after everything has been produced and uploaded for all of that translation to happen to all the materials that will be available too.
And this is just a quick breakdown again of the first 5 levels. We have 27 courses, more than 40 videos, more than 8 hours of content. Every single level has supplementary materials that includes additional information pertinent to each course, as well as text scripts and audio files for those that need to read or have trouble seeing. They can also listen to all the videos as well. We have knowledge checks and quizzes to test your comprehension. And then with all of the text scripts that are associated with each video, that's more than 200 pages of reading material. So people will be informed and should feel prepared by going through this technical assistance program. And then finally, we wanted to be very, very intentional about the instructors that we've worked with to help us produce this material. When we were doing a call out for instructors to help us produce the course materials, we received more than 250 applications, and we whittled it down to 25 instructors to help us onboard this initial core curriculum. And right here, we know that data is important, we know that diversity is important, and we know that local is important too. So here's just a quick slide to show the breakdown of the final first cohort of instructors. We really look forward to not only establishing and continuing the core curriculum, but offering more educational material and bringing on future instructors to help us teach as the laws and the regulations evolve. So we are committed to diversity and equity here, just like the CRC and the governor's office. And this is our work and our progress.
So we're really excited to be able to offer this. It is made in New Jersey, by New Jersey, for New Jersey. And being from New Jersey, we're kind of excited about that. So that's a brief glimpse of what's available to the Cannabis Training Academy. We encourage people to go and register. For those of you watching or in the room, there's a QR code that'll take you right there. Otherwise, you can go to njcta.nj.gov, go in, start learning, and we are open for business. So thank you so much, commissioners, leadership, and staff. It's been because of you that we've been able to bring this to life. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both so much for your work, your dedication, your blood, sweat, and tears that went into this. You know, I know it was a multi-year process, and so I'm really thrilled that you all were able to unveil this yesterday and offer this remarkable resource and tool for people that I know is going to be a game changer for the cannabis industry in New Jersey. So congratulations again to you all and the work that you've done. And I'm happy to have played a very small part in getting this conversation going, but watching you all see it through, and it brings me joy that we're finally here, able to have students go through the portal now. So congrats.
Thank you.
And I'll turn it over to my Vice Chair Delgado, who also served on the business development work group with me. Yeah.
I'm excited, and I invite you and welcome you to come back and give us updates, maybe once or
You
twice
bet.
during the year. All right. Thank you.
Absolutely. Look forward to that.
Thank you so much. You have a question?
Yeah,
Question from the
just,
board?
I might have missed it, and so I think it's worth repeating. How much does this cost?
Oh, it would be no cost.
Oh, thank you.
No cost.
Yes, Commissioner Del Cid Cuso.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, I want to thank you and your team for getting this off the ground. I know it's not an easy task, but yesterday was a big day for you guys and your team. So congratulations. And also when Wesley gave me like the bare bones of what this was going to look like, he mentioned, no, I asked you, I think, is it going to be translated in Spanish? And then he said, they're already on it. So I'm not surprised that you guys are doing that already. Just keep in mind that maybe the translation is going to be, instead of 30 minutes, it might turn into an hour because.
Oh, yeah.
Spanish tends to
Oh,
be
yeah.
very-
We had to slow down the way that people spoke, and they said the slides are going to be 40% more. you know,
Right.
So yeah, thank
I
you.
totally get that. But again, thank you for your partnership along with EDAs. I think there was somebody here in the audience from EDA. Thank you for being great partners.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to jump in for a quick
Commissioner
second.
Nash.
I also want to congratulate you. I know it was a monumental task. I remember early on, there was a lot of public comment about needing technical assistance, and we listen here at the commission, and hence we have this wonderful program. And again, thank you for educating the soon-to-be entrepreneurs.
Thank you, Commissioner.
And thank you for really being committed to making this happen. I said to Wesley yesterday that I know that, even before he officially started, he was like, this is going to happen. So thank you for keeping that in the front of your heart and your mind and really making sure that we're able to support people.
Thank you, and congratulations to you all again.
Thank you.
Thanks.
The next item on the agenda is the Executive Director's Report.
Director Riggs, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and it's certainly a tough act to follow. Penny and Tahid, congratulations. Really important to get that education out to the New Jerseyans that need it. This is a quarterly data meeting, so you guys are going to be hit with a lot of data here on sales and pricing, and then I'm going to kick it over to our Office of Diversity and Inclusion, Director McWhite, to talk about some of the demographic data. So next slide, please. Updates on dispensary openings. As you can see, we've got new recreational and adult use dispensaries opening. Over 170 medical and recreational dispensaries are open in all of New Jersey's counties. So we have more opening. Leave that slide up for just a second longer. Okay. The licensing update for total licenses approved. This is as of October 11th of 2024. We've received a little over 2,700 applications that have been submitted. 2,100 of those applications have been approved. There's 112 applications that are under review in our Office of Licensing. 336 applications are pending resubmission following a cure because they had some issue or concern with their application. 128 applications are under review in the Office of Compliance and Investigations. As of October 11th of 2024, we've awarded 1,508 conditionals, 387 conditional to annual conversions, 213 annual licenses, 79 alternative treatment centers have expanded. So there's a total of 309 operating licenses in AU and permits in medical that have been issued. Today, up for consideration, we have 16 conditional applications, 8 conditional to annual conversion applications, 8 annual applications, 2 expanded alternative treatment centers, and 7 annual renewal applications. And now I think, and we don't want to forget about our patients. We always give an update on our patient rolls and things like that. So as of October 15th of 2024, we have a little over 70,000 patients enrolled in the program, a little less than 5,000 caregivers, and a little over 1,500 doctors enrolled in the medical program. Now on to the data update for sales and pricing. So this is the last 4 quarters of sales in medical and recreational. You see the chart on the side and the chart on the right side. Notably, sales in Q2 of 2024 were up 44% year over year from Q2 of 2023. So we had a big increase. Sales in Q2 of 2024 are up 15% from Q1 of 2024. So the market is still growing. Sales are still going up. This is the adult use sales by month. We have the previous 12 months up on the screen. August 2024 was the highest month of sales on record. So we had the highest month of sales this August, just last month in August and the end of the summer. August 2024 was up 47% over August 2023. This slide shows the adult use bud and flower pricing per gram. Prices in August of 2024 were down 14% from a year over year in August 2023. Prices in August 2024 were down 2.4% from prices in July. So the prices do continue to drop. Medical bud and flower pricing program. Notably here, you're going to see that in August of 2024, medical prices dropped below $10 for the first time. So medical prices per gram are now below $10, which is a 2.6% reduction from July of 2024. And this is just a chart that shows, the types of products and the sales mix by product category. As you'll see, bud and flowers still dominate the market at 40% sales, and then vape carts come in second. Edibles are staying pretty stagnant, even though we've, opened up we've opened up our regulations to allow for more products. It's still staying about the same. So we'd like to see that percentage kind of go up when more products are available. And that is all I have on the data and for sales and pricing. So I'm going to kick it over to you, Director McWhite, to talk about some of the demographic data.
Thank you. My favorite time of the year, quarterly reports, quarterly data reports. But permit me just a few minutes. We did want to share some information and some knowledge with you all. So New Jersey's cannabis industry stands as a model of what inclusion and opportunity can look like. Our policies reflect the values of fairness, ensuring that small businesses and historically underserved and underrepresented communities have a real shot at success here in New Jersey. These numbers we share are accurate, are real people, dreams and goals, and show plenty of success in areas of opportunity. So I really wanted to take the time to acknowledge that building such an inclusive market comes with challenges. And we want these challenges to inspire collaboration, and challenges that are often rooted in systemic barriers, access to capital, navigating difficult municipal approval processes, and a litany of barriers external to the CRC. But that's the mission of the CRC and the Office of Diversity and Inclusion, to recommend and implement unified policies, practices, and procedures that promote the participation from under and underrepresented communities in the cannabis industry. We could point to the largest state-funded grant program in the nation, powered by New Jersey Economic Development Authority, or first of its kind free technical assistance program you just heard about, just as two examples of the state's investments that we have made so far to see a more diverse and inclusive market. So why all of this? We personally want to continue to invite stakeholders, those that we've engaged with and those that we have not just yet, to support local and small businesses, often in ways the CRC cannot, and offer thoughtful data-driven solutions. And together, we can continue to shape an industry that reflects the diversity of New Jersey and provides lasting benefits for all communities. And as always, the full quarterly report will be uploaded to our website in the coming weeks. And for those that I hope this invite reaches, let's do this, continue to do this together. Amen, amen. All right, so let's get started. Awardee application data. Thank you. Director of Communications, Tony Blake, thank you so much. All right, so between quarter two, our awards by class and application types. Between quarter two and quarter three, we've seen an increase in the number of approved annuals, conversions to annuals, and approved conditionals across the board for every class type. The most significant increase has been cultivators, with an increase of 34 awarded annual awardees from 38 in quarter two to 72 here in our quarter three data. So we saw a jump of 34 additional awarded cultivators between last quarter and this quarter. Manufacturers with an additional 45 between last quarter and this quarter, from 30 in quarter two and 75, as you can see here, in quarter three. And wholesalers and distributors have seen a slight increase, and the most significant increase, I'm sure if you all guessed, is retailers. Annual awardees with an additional 101 awardees, going from 107 quarter two to 208 in quarter three, and really encouraged to seeing more testing approvals going out the door as well. Awards by class and application types is just a percentage breakdown. So 54% of our annual awards have gone to retailers, 19% have gone to manufacturers, just a little under 19% to cultivators. And we're going to continue to keep an eye on this so we can see how the industry is shaping up. As always, our diversity owned business and social equity business awardees. An additional 9 social equity business awardees have been made between Q2 and Q3. An additional 44 diversity owned businesses have been awarded, an increase from 376 from Q2 and 420. We didn't do that on purpose from Q2 to Q3. Percentages remain steady at 70% for diversity owned businesses and 16% for social equity businesses quarter to quarter. Very key slide that we want to continue to show. So this slide continues to show with this data chart to ensure that licenses and key populations are being approved at or similar rates that applications are applying. So when they come in, they go out. And in this chart, we see that this data is consistent with the same rates among approvals or at a narrow margin. So as we said earlier, when they go in, they do go out. Approved awards by social equity status, approved social equity straight to annuals increased by 3 from Q2 to Q3. Approved social equity conversions and annuals and approved conditionals have increased between Q2 and Q3, increasing the total number of social equity awardees so far from 468 to 495. And we're really, really encouraged about those that have been most impacted by previous cannabis laws and those that live in those neighborhoods, economically disadvantaged areas, are still taking advantage and still applying for cannabis licensure in New Jersey. So want to continue to encourage them. Majority ownership awardees with prior marijuana convictions between Q2 and Q3, we've seen an increase across the board among approved annuals, approved conditionals, and an additional 29 awardees overall with prior convictions between Q2 and Q3. Diversity owned businesses awardees by application type between Q2 and Q3. There have been an additional 88 diversity owned businesses awarded, seeing an increase across the board under annuals, conversions, and approved conditionals. Among our impact zone businesses, we have seen an increase from 849 to 908 between Q2 and Q3, an increase of an additional 59 impact awardees across approved annuals, conversions to annuals, and approved conditionals. Our annual license awardees distribution by county, Vice Chair Delgado's favorite slides, top 3, Burlington, Atlantic, and Union County, same as last quarter, and conversions, Atlantic, Essex, and Hudson are seeing our top 3 for those conversions as well. Quarterly data benchmarks, my fave. So we continue and consistently surpass our statutory benchmarks by over 30% for minority owned and now 29% women and disabled veteran owned, 65 additional minority owned awardees and an additional 32 women or disabled veteran awardees from last quarter to this quarter, or Q2 to Q3. This is a quick breakdown of the certification types against license types. Even when you factor in, things like expanded ATCs, we're still maintaining diversity, which you'll see in a couple more slides. But we want to continue to monitor disabled veteran-owned businesses and pulling them out, even though the statute combines them. We want to continue to see exactly how many disabled veteran-owned businesses are being awarded against, well, not against, but separate from women. That is a request that they made years ago now that we continue to honor. But as you see, there is still overlap in the market. Minority-owned and disabled veteran-owned conversions there. Minority-owned, women-owned, and disabled veteran-owned businesses are continuing to make it through the process as well. And we're really, really excited to see this level of diversity, and we're going to continue to grow from here. According to MJ Business Daily's annual DEI report, the national average of majority minority-owned cannabis businesses has seen a 4% decrease, and a majority-owned cannabis, women-owned cannabis business nationally has seen a 6% decrease. So while New Jersey has consistently seen an increase in diversity, with 42% of our annual license awardees to minority-owned businesses, 19% is the national average. So we are surpassing the national average where we stand today. Among women, a 16% national average in ownership, but New Jersey is seeing 44% of our annual awardees awarded so far awarded to majority women-owned owned businesses. And while the state of diversity nationally has experienced a decrease, diversity in majority business ownership awardees here continues to soar above those national averages, and we're really proud of that. Even with, as we said, expanded ATCs, we still surpass our statutory benchmarks at 25%, surpassing the benchmark with expanded ATCs over 25% and 32% respectively. So as the numbers of awardees and potential dual identifications increase, this is a more accurate way of communicating the data going forward, as we've done all this year so far, in some of last year. Additional 8 Asian annual license awardees have been awarded, an additional 17 Black or African American awardees have been awarded, an additional 11 Hispanic or Latino annual awardees have been awarded. Measures of success: 10% of Black business ownership among all businesses in New Jersey is 10%. So 10% of all businesses in New Jersey are Black owned, but here we have awarded 17% of our annual licenses to majority Black owned businesses. 10.9, about 11% of New Jersey's businesses are Asian owned. Here we have awarded 13% of our licenses to majority Asian owned businesses. And 16.3, a little over 16% of New Jersey businesses are Hispanic or Latino owned. 12% of our annual licenses have been awarded to majority Hispanic or Latino businesses. But even with that 12%, we're surpassing population numbers as well, or trying to meet them as much. So when you're measuring equity, you're measuring diversity in the space, it's really hard to get consistency across the board about what some of these measures of success. And so we want to continue to monitor, really how many businesses of certain groups are in New Jersey and how many awardees that we've given out. And as you can see, we're even surpassing some of our all around business numbers. And hopefully we're seeing an increase in diversity. We are seeing an increase in diversity among just businesses in general in New Jersey. And we're really proud of that. So this is a breakdown of operational businesses licensed under the CREAM Act. We've seen an increase across the board among operations, among cultivators, manufacturers, retailers, and testing laboratories, increase across the board for operational businesses among impact zone businesses, those with previous marijuana convictions, micro businesses, social equity and diversity owned businesses. New this quarter, 16 additional impact zone businesses, 13 additional women owned businesses, 5 additional majority owners with previous marijuana convictions, and 30 diversely owned businesses have opened up their doors since between Q2 and Q3. So congratulations to them. And lastly, well, not lastly, one more. Our doors operational business licensed under the CREAM Act. We want to continue to monitor our certifications. So as you can see, 27% of our certifications so far are women business enterprises, 20% are minority business enterprises, and the rest of the breakdown there as well. This is the last side. So operational businesses licensed under the CREAM Act, 19 of them are Black owned, 21 of them are Asian owned. These are all majority, and 24 are Hispanic or Latino majority owned. And so we continue to see folks of all different types of backgrounds and socioeconomic statuses and neighborhoods, whether impact zones or EDAs, license types, businesses are getting open. And we're going to continue to work hard as we can to support businesses that are still struggling to open their doors and get across the finish line. So that is it for me. And I turn it back over to the chair.
That's it. Director McWhite, thank you so much for that thorough rundown. I feel like we're drinking from a fire hose with data here, which is a good thing. So thank you to you and also to our Director of the Office of Business and Data Analytics. Shout out to that team for all of the number crunching that they do to make this report out possible and to make it a reality for us to show that we are beating the statewide average when it comes to some of these minority-owned businesses, even among those businesses that are operational, it looks like. So total awarded businesses, we're beating those statewide averages for 2 out of the 3. 2 out of the 3 particular categories that you had noted, Director McWhite: Asian, Black or African American, and then Hispanic or Latino And then even among our operational businesses, I love to see that, love to see that. So thank you to your team, the ODI team for all of their work. And Director Riggs, thank you for all of the effort that staff have put in to make these things a reality, right? Are there any questions for Director Riggs? No.
I just,
Oh, Vice Chair Delgado.
and all this could be seen on our website, right? Thank you. Thank you. On a very robust website.
And on a very quick turnaround.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. All right. If there's nothing further on the executive director's report, Commissioner Barker?
A brief statement. I'm adding up the percentages, and I don't think this is an indictment on our team or the industry. I just think we can do better. Looking at the numbers, you add up operational business licenses, majority owners of American Indian, Alaska Native, 1%, majority ownership Asian, 13%, majority ownership Black or African American, 12%. You can add all four of those minority categories, Black, African American, Hispanic, let's add that in there, 15%. That's four minority categories, Black, African American, American Indian, Native Americans, Hispanics. Those are the primary groups that we said we want to see benefit from this. You can add up every percentage and it's still less than the majority white representation in this industry. And so I do believe we can do better. 40 across 4 different categories of minority representation, we're at 41% ownership. We said 3 years ago we were going to try to prioritize and ensure that this industry is led by those who have been most harmed. And so I do hope, and I will say, to your credit, Director McWhite, the numbers have been increasing. And to the team, the numbers have been increasing, but I do believe we can do better. Again, I'm okay with comparing this to businesses. I'm okay with comparing this to population, but we legalized because people were in prison. We didn't legalize because people were needing new business opportunities or because of the population. We legalized because there were certain groups that were imprisoned that sadly there are people still in prison. And so I'm hoping that we continue to operationalize more Black and brown businesses, more Native American, Native businesses, because I think that's the real purpose of what we're trying to do. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we'll move on to the next agenda item.
The next item on the agenda are the committee reports.
All right, so we'll first hear from the Permitting and Licensing Committee. So I will turn it over to that committee chair, Commissioner Del Cid Cosa.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just wanted to provide the board and the public with a quick update on some of the extension requests that we received. For the month of September, we'd issued 23 conditional extensions. Next slide. So on May 16th, we held a statewide hearing to learn from licensees and applicants about ways to improve our current licensing and permitting processes. And we had a pretty good turnout on that day. The following month, this committee provided an update to the board and the public. And we're not done here. We want to host at least 3 focus groups with licensees and applicants next month. We already have some dates available, but please stay tuned for more details. The goal here is to wrap up these conversations before the end of the year so the committee can review and evaluate any potential changes needed to streamline and improve our application and licensing processes. Next slide. Just want to provide an update in terms of the medical rewrite proposal. So in advance of that, This committee has been tasked to spearhead policy discussions regarding the implementation of institutional caregivers. And last month, the committee met with stakeholders, the Department of Health, which is a licensing agency for many of these facilities that includes hospitals, nursing homes, long-term care facilities. Throughout those discussions, we identified some legal hurdles that we still need to resolve. Next steps for this committee is to address those legal concerns, continue stakeholder engagement, and schedule private roundtable discussions. So the committee today, due that there are outstanding items that the committee still needs to address, we are recommending that decisions related to language and policy regarding caregivers be postponed until those outstanding items are resolved. As many of you know, the Jake Honig Compassionate Use Medical Cannabis Act was signed into law by Governor Murphy 5 years ago. And I'm thrilled that we are having these long overdue discussions. But before we put pen to paper, it is the committee's priority that we get this right. And by doing so, we must engage caregivers and facilities in these initial conversations. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Del Cid Coso. Are there any questions from the board regarding the Permitting and Licensing Committee's report? Hearing none, we'll then turn to the Public Engagement and Education Committee. The floor is yours, Commissioner Barker.
I'm going to start us off and I'll turn it over to Commissioner Nash. We'll be very brief with you. In the spirit of trying to get more information, collaborate with our stakeholders, as you may know, we've hosted roundtables primarily to discuss the medicinal cannabis market in New Jersey. Commissioner Nash and I, we held our roundtable discussion on September 25th. We held our roundtable discussion on September 25th. The primary purpose of our roundtable was to focus on the patient experience, the business experience, and the healthcare provider experience in the medicinal marketplace. Participants in our roundtable were patients, were business owners, they were advocates, and there was one healthcare provider. I do want to put a pin in that. A few speakers touched on this at our last meeting, and I think it's worth repeating. We definitely need collaboration on this. We've hosted these roundtables. I think, Commissioner Nash, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we had 6,000 or 7,000 surveys answered. We reached out, let me put a pin in that, step back. I believe we reached out to the entire patient community. Out of that, we received 6,000 to 7,000 survey responses. We're still going through that. We reached out to those 6,000 or 7,000 survey respondents to see who would be interested in joining a conversation. We had 10 people on the call. And so we definitely would love, in another conversation, if we're fortunate to have it, to have some more stakeholder representation, advocacy groups, some MSO representation. We also want more small business representation across different categories, small social equity, diversely owned, impact zone. That will help give us a more diverse, that will help diversify the information we're receiving. On the call, some dynamic issues and questions were raised, right? Primarily the price of cannabis. We hear time and time again, patients cannot afford their medicine. And so that was a big topic that came up. We discussed the discounts being offered and the ranges of discounts being offered. Some, very few, but some above 30%, which is well received. Others saying they barely get 10%. So that was something that we took into consideration. Another big pinpoint was the variety of the medicine. A lot of the few patients that were on the call and the healthcare provider, they did touch on the fact that there aren't enough products that speak to patient needs. A lot of patients sometimes need low THC, high CBD, or high CBN, or high CBG, or other cannabinoids. They're concerned that they're not seeing that, and so they ask that be added. Do we limit or expand ATCs? That was a big topic of conversation that came up. Some businesses that were on the call that were expanded ATCs wanted satellite operations. They wanted vertical. So these were things that were helpful for us to process and to continue to process. Wholesale prices. One particular business owner shared how prices are too high for them. Another business owner shared that prices were reasonable. So we would like to hear from more business owners. I don't want to just take those two to inform our decision. Stakeholder groups, we would love to hear from you that represent a group of different businesses. Education and knowledge, that was another great idea shared, even to the extent that one patient represented that they would like better assistance from their bud tenders. They didn't feel like in some of their experiences, the bud tender was knowledgeable enough on their particular condition or their particular need. That was a pink point. Other ideas, consolidating the market, getting rid of the dual supply chain, that came up. So we want to continue to think through that. Eliminating patient-only hours came up. Expediting the approval process. And so these are things that we're still processing. We're still reviewing the surveys. Again, that was a lot of data. Commissioner Nash will touch on some of that in a second. And so we hope to continue the conversation, potentially host another roundtable. We've already shared preliminary guidance with our legal counsel, but we hope to circle back with them after a conversation with more stakeholders with a more complete recommendation memo. And with that, I'll turn it over to Commissioner Nash for some data comments.
Thank you, Commissioner Barker. So to start off, Vice Chair Delgado and I held a roundtable on September 5th through another committee. And one of the questions was whether the 3-ounce allotment for medicinal patients was sufficient. And so what I've learned between the two roundtables, the one that we just held in September 25th and this September 5th, is that it depends who you ask. So we had almost 10% respondents from patients, which I think is a really significant number of surveys. And as Commissioner Barker stated, we're still going through these very thoughtful comments from people who took the time to complete the surveys. Given that this is influencing our medicinal rules, we're trying to be thoughtful and not just throwing out numbers or recommendations without having more substantive data and conversations. So for instance, the question and the surveys for the September 25th roundtable included questions: is the 3-ounce allotment for patients just enough or more than I need, or not enough? And 70% of those 6,100 people said that it's just enough or more than I need. However, during the roundtable and the surveys for our other committee that Vice Chair Delgado and I held on September 5th, the predominant answer was it's not enough. So we need to flesh that out more and understand like what is the right amount, right? So I think speaking to some more advocacy groups and others to really help inform us is going to be important here. I'm not going to go through all the questions, but just wanted to add to what Commissioner Barker said about why we're not making the recommendation at this time. Chairwoman?
Thank you very much to both Commissioner Barker and Commissioner Nash. Are there any questions from the board regarding the Public Engagement and Education Committee's report? All right, hearing none, thank you again, and we will move forward.
The next item on the agenda, we have the award for independent study.
All right, so for this, I will actually turn it over to Vice Chair Delgado to give a summary of the recommendation for awarding a contract for the independent study of the commission.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Once we got it, we have more. Thank you. So statute requires that the commission to contract with a public research university to conduct an independent study of the commission and its activities. For those that like to quote the statute, it's up on the screen there. The study must include a review of the following. The New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission's organization, the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission's regulations and enforcement activities, the overall effectiveness of the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission as a full-time entity, and whether the regulation and oversight of the medical cannabis or personal use cannabis could be more effectively and efficiently managed through 1, reorganization of the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission, 2, consolidation of the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission within the Department of Health or another executive branch department, conversion to a part-time commission, or 3, the transfer of some or all of the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission's operation elsewhere within the executive branch. So that's what the study entails. A summary of our evaluation and for the review, summary of the review goes as follows. On March 19th, 2024, the Audit Committee issued a request for information, an RFI, to solicit interest from all eligible institutions to conduct a study of the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission as required by law. Under the statute, there are 5 entities that are considered public research institutions in the state of New Jersey. They are Rutgers, the State University of New Jersey, Rowan University, the New Jersey Institute of Technology, Montclair State University, and Kane University in Union, New Jersey. Eligible institutions are permitted to were permitted to submit written questions about the RFI until 2 p.m. on April 8th. On April 9th, the Audit Committee notified the eligible institution that the deadline for submitting the request was being extended. So we extended it to 2:30 p.m. on April 15th. The committee received a total of 28 questions by April 15th. By the April 15th deadline, and subsequently provided written responses to the submitted questions to all eligible participants on May 10th, 2024. The deadline for to submit final proposal was by 12 p.m. on June 7th, and the committee received 3 proposals from the submission deadlines. No submissions were received from the other 2 remaining eligible institutions. We received the submissions to the FBI from the following respondents: New Jersey Institute of Technology, NJIT, Rowan University, and Rutgers University. Those were the 3 that we received submissions. Up on the board, you see the scores of this that how we scored it, utilizing 4 criterias. Criteria A had a weight of 10, and criteria was the qualification and experience. Criteria B was experience with similar project with a weight of 30. Criteria C was ability to meet the needs of the study with a weight of 50, and criteria D was pricing with a weight of 10. You'll see the total scores. New Jersey Institute of Technology had a total score of 890, Rowan University 815, and Rutgers 740. So with that, the award recommendation after completing a thorough review of submission of proposals, the Audit Committee recommended that the Commission contract with New Jersey Institute of Technology to conduct the independent review of the agency required by statute. That concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair Delgado, and thank you for your leadership on this particular matter. I know this particular project, getting the ball rolling on this item was a priority of yours, and so I want to acknowledge that and thank you for keeping the pressure on us to move that forward. And I'm happy that we are here today, finally ready to recommend an award to get this study going. So thank you, Vice Chair Delgado.
Well,
Are there any
thank you, and thank you for your leadership, because you certainly were there with me alongside. Thank you.
Are there any questions from the board about the this recommendation from the Audit Committee? All right, hearing no questions, is there a motion on this matter?
Madam Chair, I move to approve the award Independent Study of Commission Activities to NJIT, a public research university.
I'll second that.
Moved by Commissioner Del Cid Costo and seconded by Commissioner Nash. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing none. Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Barker,
Abstain.
Commissioner Del Cid Coso,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Vice Chair Delgado,
Yes.
Chairwoman Wenu.
Yes.
The motion passes. The next item on the agenda is the consideration of applications for ownership changes.
Great. Director Riggs, I'll turn it over to you to describe those applications for ownership change.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have 4 ownership changes before you today. These applications have been received and reviewed by the Office of Compliance and Investigation. Acreage CCF New Jersey LLC is transferring their ownership. Altius NJ is a change in ownership structure. Hamilton Farms LLC is a change in ownership structure. And Nova Farms Woodbury LLC is a change in ownership structure. Each of these entities has satisfied the regulatory requirements for an ownership change. All of the owners and individuals that were required to be investigated were investigated and vetted by our Office of Compliance and Investigations, and therefore they have been deemed qualified to be in the cannabis industry. And now we are recommending that these ownership changes be approved.
Thank you, Director Riggs. Just a point of clarification, I believe in the materials I'm looking at, and maybe I missed it because what I'm looking at might be an outdated item. I see ownership change applications for two additional businesses. No problem. Great.
Apologies for the slides. We also have NJ Green Care and Denver Coal Farms that have been reviewed and vetted by the Office of Compliance and Investigations and are recommended for approval.
Okay, so those additional two are still being recommended.
Yes.
All right, so Denver Coal Farms and NJ Green Care LLC are still being recommended for approval.
That is
so
correct,
Brings
Madam
us
Chair.
to 6. Are there any other questions for Director Riggs? Hearing no further questions, is there a motion on this matter regarding the 6? Yes, the 6 applications for an ownership transfer. Is there a motion on that matter?
Madam Chair, I move to approve the ownership changes for the 6 applicants set forth in the resolution.
Moved by Commissioner Nash. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Del Cid Coso. Is there any discussion on this motion to approve the ownership change for the 6 named businesses? Hearing no discussion, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Barker,
Abstain.
Commissioner Del Cid Coso,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Vice Chair Delgado, Chairwoman
Yes.
Wenu.
That was a resounding yes from Vice Chair
Oh,
Delgado.
I didn't have my microphone.
Oh,
on, so
okay.
I had to do it a second time.
I appreciate the effort to make sure that those folks at home can hear us. I really do appreciate that. My vote is yes.
The motion passes. The next item up for consideration is the adult use cannabis business conditional license applications.
All right, Director Riggs, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Today we have 16 conditional licenses up for consideration and recommended for approval. 2 cultivators, 1 wholesaler, 2 distributors, and 11 retailers. These
Sorry, Commissioner Barker raised something with me, raised a point of clarity with me. Apologies for interrupting you, Director Riggs. Mr. McWhite, I want to confer with you very quickly on the slides for this item. So if you bear with us just one moment. At home, we'll just need one brief second to refresh the material. So bear with us, and then we will resume the summary from Director Riggs on the applications received. Thank you, Commissioner Barker. Round of applause for our folks handling the technology today and all of the issues that we've been facing. Really appreciate it. We appreciate your time and your patience.
Get it?
Oh, yes, correct. Fantastic. We're back. Thank you again, Director McWhite, for your experience and your expertise in handling these technological curveballs that we throw at you each and every board meeting. We appreciate it. Director Riggs, apologies for the interruption. Thank you for your patience. You can resume your summary.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Wesley, for fixing that issue. We have 16 conditional licenses up for consideration and recommended for approval today: 2 cultivators, 1 wholesaler, 2 distributors, and 11 retailers. These licenses have been through the licensing process and followed our regulations. They've been given a priority assignment. Our licensing team confirms that each application is assigned to its appropriate review level: diversely owned business status, social equity business status, taxes, residency if required, and cures are sent if they do not qualify. That priority is verified through that cure process and through the reviewing the documentation. After that, a completeness review is conducted to confirm that all required documents are submitted and that the application is deemed complete. We confirm that not only is the document filled out, but the required information is on the document itself, so the substantive information is regulatory compliant. And the application is scored, and if the application receives a sufficient score, it is recommended to this board for approval. And for the conditional licenses, we are recommending that these 16 be approved by the board.
Thank you very much, Director Riggs. Are there any questions from the board? Hearing no questions, is there a motion on this matter?
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the consideration of conditional license applications.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Del Cid-Coso. Thank you. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Barker,
Aye.
Commissioner Del Cid-Coso,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Vice Chair Delgado,
Yes.
Chairwoman Wainu.
Yes.
The motion passes. The next item up for consideration is the adult use cannabis business conversion license applications.
Director Riggs, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So there are 8 total. We will take them in 2 separate votes because I believe we have a recusal for one of the applications. So before the entire board right now, there are 7 conditional to annual conversion licenses: 2 cultivators, 2 manufacturers, 2 retailers, and 1 delivery license. These have followed the similar conditional licensing process that I just outlined. However, they also went through a qualification review where the individual's financial sources and any other vendor contract or management services agreements were reviewed by our Office of Compliance and Investigation for regulatory compliance. They've been deemed satisfied on the background checks that are reviewed to ensure that the owners and persons of interest are qualified to be in the cannabis space. That has been conducted by our Office of Compliance and Investigation. Quality control was done by our Office of Licensing, Office of Compliance and Investigation, and our Chief Counsel's Office. And now we are making a recommendation to the board to approve these 7 conditional to annual conversion licenses.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from the board regarding the set of 7 applications to convert from a conditional to an annual license? Hearing no questions from the board, is there a motion on this matter?
Madam Chair, I move to adopt this resolution considering the applications to convert from conditional to annual Class 1, Class 2, Class 5, and Class 6 licenses.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Barker. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Barker,
Aye.
Commissioner Del Cid-Coso,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Vice Chair Delgado,
Yes.
Chairwoman Wainu.
Yes.
The motion passes. The next item on the agenda, we have consideration of the conversion for Triple G Farms LLC. Commissioner Nash has recused herself from this conversion application for Triple G Farms LLC due to an ongoing professional relationship. On account of her recusal, she will step out of the room while the board considers this particular application. Afterward, Commissioner Nash will come back in and we'll take up the next order of business.
Director Riggs, the floor is yours to provide a summary of this conditional to annual conversion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This license followed the same process that I just outlined for the 7 other licenses, and staff has reviewed and is satisfied that the application satisfies our regulations, and we are recommending that it be approved. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from the board regarding this application? Hearing none. Is there a motion on this matter? I will again ask for a motion on this matter. As a
Madam Chairwoman, I move that I move the consideration of application to convert from conditional to annual license for Triple G Farm LLC, OZ LLC.
Vice Chair Delgado moves to approve the application. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Del Cid Coso. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion, Mr. Saeed, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Barker,
Aye.
Commissioner Del Cid Coso,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash is recused, Vice Chair Delgado,
Yes.
Chairwoman Wainu.
Yes.
The motion passes. The next item up for consideration is the adult use cannabis business annual license applications.
Director Riggs, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Same licensing process was followed for conditionals and the conversion to annual licenses. Same process is followed. The most important 2 pieces here are that the application underwent a qualifications review. The individuals were deemed qualified to be in the cannabis space. Any financial source agreements or vendor contractor agreements were vetted for regulatory compliance. Background checks were completed and reviewed to ensure that the owners and persons of interest are allowed to be in the cannabis space, and the law allows for that. Quality control was conducted, and we are now recommending that these license applications be approved by the board. And there are 7 total license applications, not 8, 7. Sorry about all the numbers today, but it is 7.
It's all right. It's okay. Thank you. Thank you, Director Riggs. Are there any questions from the board? Hearing none. Is there a motion on this matter?
Madam Chair, I move to approve the annual license applications for class 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and testing laboratory licenses presented here today.
I second.
Moved by Commissioner Nash and seconded by Vice Chair Delgado. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion, Mr. Saeed, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Barker,
Aye.
Commissioner Del Cid Coso,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Vice Chair Delgado,
Yes.
Chairwoman Wainu.
Yes.
The motion passes. The next item up for consideration are the expanded alternative treatment center certifications.
Director Riggs?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I think we have the number right on this one. So there's two expanded ATCs that are up for consideration and recommended for approval today. We have Acreage CCF New Jersey, Class 5 retailer in Collingswood, New Jersey, and Aunt Mary's Dispensary LLC, which is a Class 1 cultivator in Franklin Township. Both of these entities have requested to be approved as an expanded ATC. They've provided zoning and municipal approvals as required by law and regulations, and all labor requirements have been met by these entities. As required by law, both of these entities have certified that they have sufficient quantities of medical cannabis and medical cannabis products available to meet the reasonably anticipated needs of registered qualifying patients in accordance with the law, and therefore we are recommending that both of these entities be approved. And I do know that they will be separate votes, but we're recommending approval for both. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we'll take them in turn. So, but before we do, are there any questions from the board regarding either of these 2 certifications? Hearing no questions, as it pertains to Acreage, CCF, New Jersey. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I move to accept the certification for the ATC Acreage CCF New Jersey to expand operations to the AU personal cannabis market.
Is there a second?
I second.
Seconded by Commissioner Del Cid Cosa. Is there any discussion on this motion to accept the certification? Hearing none. Mr. Said, as it pertains to Acreage, CCF, New Jersey, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Barker,
Abstain.
Commissioner Del Cid Coso,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Vice Chair Delgado,
Yes.
Chairwoman Wainu.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, we'll next turn to Aunt Mary's Dispensary LLC. Is there a motion on that matter?
Madam Chairwoman, I move that we accept the certification for Alternative Treatment Center for Aunt Mary Dispensary LLC to expand operations to the adult personal use cannabis market.
Moved by Vice Chair Delgado. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Del Cid Coso. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion, Mr. Said, as it relates to Aunt Mary's Dispensary LLC, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Barker,
Abstain.
Commissioner Del Cid Coso,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Vice Chair Delgado,
Yes.
Chairwoman Wainu.
Yes.
The motion passes. The next item up for consideration is the adult use cannabis business annual license renewal applications.
Director Riggs.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have 7 adult use licenses that are up for renewal today, that are recommended for renewal. They have followed our licensing process initially, have been deemed and satisfied that process, and have been deemed regulatory compliant. The licenses are effective for 1 year from the date of issuance and are required to be reviewed annually. All of these entities have provided the required documentation for renewal. This documentation has been reviewed and vetted and approved by the Office of Compliance and Investigations. And again, I make this pitch every public meeting, but we need to ensure that all material changes are submitted prior to coming up for renewal. If you have a change in your business structure, if you're changing your canopy, if you're changing the layout of your business, please make sure you submit that information to the Office of Compliance and Investigation when it happens, and do not wait until renewal. But with that said, I am recommending that the 7 entities that are up for renewal are approved and renewed for their annual license. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Riggs. Are there any questions from the board? Hearing no questions, is there a motion on this matter?
Madam Chair, I move to adopt the renewal of adult use cannabis business licenses and expanded ATCs.
Is there a second?
I second.
Is there any discussion on this motion?
Just brief discussion, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Barker.
I just want to echo Executive Director Riggs in his remarks, and also add to please submit your documents in a timely manner. There are deadlines, and we ask that you adhere to the deadlines and submit your information in a timely manner. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Barker. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Barker,
Abstain.
Commissioner Del Cid Coso,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Vice Chair Delgado,
Yes.
Chairwoman Wainu.
Yes.
The motion passes. The next item on the agenda, we have cases, claims, and petitions.
Director Riggs, floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And since cases and claims are handled by an attorney, I'm going to turn it over to our Chief Counsel, Dave Twason, to discuss this.
So these are our recommendations for rehabs for employees or owners for both ATCs and cannabis businesses. We have 2 individuals that are employees or like to be employees of an ATC, and 1 for AU. Each of them have received notice that they have received a disqualifying conviction under the enabling statute and our regulations. And each of them are given the opportunity to challenge the accuracy of those convictions or demonstrate rehab. All three have shown rehabilitation through clear and convincing evidence, and we are recommending approval of all three individuals. Please note there will be two separate votes, one for the ATC employees and one for AU. The reason for that is because there's a different standard elaborated in the statute for medical versus adult use. Right. And with that, I turn it back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Chief Counsel Twazon. One quick question for the individual requesting a determination of rehabilitation for on the adult use market side. That person is just an employee. I remember there was a question about whether this person was only an employee or an employee and also prospective owner. Did we resolve that issue?
Yeah, that individual will be is looking to be an owner in the cannabis as a cannabis business.
So is not an employee. This is just purely for ownership
That's correct.
purposes. All right, great. Thank you very much. Any other questions from the board? All right, if there are no further questions, we'll take these two items in turn because as Chief Counsel articulated, they have different standards under the law. So we will first start with the ATC employee ID cards. Is there a motion on the matter of the two requests for determination of rehabilitation for the two ATC employees?
Madam Chair, I move to approve the request for determination and rehabilitation.
Moved by Commissioner Barker. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Nash. Is there any discussion on this motion as it pertains to the two ATC employees? Hearing no discussion. Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Barker,
Aye.
Commissioner Del Cid Coso,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Vice Chair Delgado,
Yes.
Chairwoman Wainu.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Okay, and so we'll now turn to the one individual requesting a determination of rehabilitation on the adult use side. Is there a motion as it pertains to that matter?
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the request for a determination of rehabilitation on the adult use side.
I second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Barker,
Aye.
Commissioner Del Cid Coso,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Vice Chair Delgado,
Yes.
Chairwoman Wainu.
Yes.
The motion passes. Next item on the agenda, we have consideration of enforcement actions.
Director Riggs, I'll turn it over to you to describe the matter, the violation for which that was cited and which we are considering today.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Green Medicine NJ-LLC was issued a notice of violation for failing to adhere to the requirements imposed by regulations and its own standard operating procedures for processing cannabis free of foreign matter. There was an anonymous complaint filed that indicated that there were hair and bugs in the cannabis that was cultivated at Green Medicine, New Jersey, LLC. Our Office of Compliance and Investigation did a very quick investigation and got onto it very quickly. Took random samples from other dispensaries. It was determined that the lot and batch numbers were compromised. We issued a recall of those lot and batch numbers that were potentially compromised. Green Medicine followed their standard operating procedures on the recall process. However, this is still a regulatory violation, as they must produce cannabis that is free of foreign matter, and bugs and aphids and hair in the cannabis is not free of foreign matter. Therefore, we are recommending an enforcement action to the board at this time.
Thank you, Director Riggs. Are there any questions from the board? While not a question, I do want to note, thank the staff and Director Urbish and his team for their rapid and in-depth response to this particular matter. It's not something that I take lightly. Having bugs in the products should be treated as to reflect the disgusting nature that it is. All right. So with that, is there a motion on this matter? I will make a motion. I move that the CRC impose a sanction of $7,000 against Green Medicine NJ in consideration of the nature of this violation. I do want to also note it looks like the business did make a good faith effort to correct the issue. However, with the record showing that, with the compliance and investigations record showing that there was an entire room that needed to be destroyed, that had plants that needed to be destroyed to address this issue. And I do also want to note for the record what the testing laboratory noted here. The testing laboratory, after testing the sampled products, noted these observations suggest a significant amount of pests were present throughout the cultivation process. And I want to underscore that because I want our cultivators to know this is not acceptable. All of our cannabis businesses are charged with acting responsibly and making sure that they're growing, producing, packaging, and selling quality products. This is unacceptable. To have 14 samples tested and only one come back clean, free of foreign matter, that's not okay. So, given that I do think this matter does pose, while it did not pose an immediate harm or threat to people's health, the nature of the violation does pose, I believe, an immediate harm, does pose a risk to the harm, I'm so sorry, I'm tongue-tied today. It does pose a risk of harm to the health of consumers. I don't believe anybody wants to open up any products and find insects or human hair in their products that they're purchasing. So I am glad, and I thank also the communications team for their swift response to get out information on the product recall, so to encourage to encourage consumers to return any contaminated products. And yes, for that reason, I believe $7,000 is a fair, reasonable, and warranted sanction or fine to impose in this matter to account for the factors and circumstances at hand in this matter.
I second that motion for the reasons you listed. I think this is definitely unacceptable. It poses a risk to the health of consumers, and it really shouldn't be happening in this industry. It doesn't, we try to avoid that in the restaurants and in the food that we consume. Same thing as in this industry. We need to make sure that the products are clean and that they're tested properly.
Well said, Commissioner Del Cid Coso. Is there any discussion on this motion to impose a fine of $7,000 on Green Medicine NJ? Hearing no discussion, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Barker?
Aye.
Commissioner Del Cid Coso,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Vice Chair Delgado, Chairwoman Wainu.
Yes.
The motion passes. Next item on the agenda, we have the open public comment period.
Thank you. Now, as we open the floor to public comments, I want to reiterate, as we do at every board meeting, that members of the public can submit public comments during or after this meeting in writing via our website, nj.gov/cannabis/meetings. The deadline for submitting written comments for today's meeting is 5 p.m. tomorrow, Friday, October 18th. Written comments will be made public. Speakers today will be limited to 3 minutes. As we have and over the last couple of meetings, we will start with the registered speakers who are here in person, and then we will turn to those who are joining us by telephone. Today, we also invite the public to share their thoughts on 2 topics in particular, both centered on patient access to medicinal cannabis, to the medicinal cannabis market, and that touch on the findings and highlights that our Public Engagement Committee, Public Engagement and Education Committee, and previously our Product Safety, Packaging and Labeling Committee have explored. So first is ATC ownership. There currently is a limited number of ATCs serving patients. Are adult use businesses interested in expanding to serve medical patients? Should vertical integration be allowed for all of our ATCs? And should there be limits on the number of locations allowed for each ATC? The second topic is regarding patient purchase limits. So patients are currently allowed to purchase up to 3 ounces of medicinal cannabis. Should this allotment be changed? How much is a reasonable allotment? How much is unreasonable? And can higher purchase limits affect product prices for patients? So we invite individuals to include in their comments remarks on these 2 topics to help the commission decide how it should shape its rules and regulations as we near the closure of trying to wrap up our medical rules rewrite. So with that said, Mr. Saeed will call on our speakers 3 at a time. When it is your turn to speak, please come down and just make sure that the light on the microphone is green, and then you are good to go. You'll have 3 minutes and your time will be monitored on the clock over here. And when you hear your 3 minutes, when your 3 minutes are up, you will hear the beep of the clock, of the alarm. And so that'll be your signal to just wrap it up, okay? So, Mr. Saeed, can you please call on our first speakers?
Thank you, Chairwoman. As a reminder, public speakers during this afternoon's public comment period will be limited to 3 minutes. Please be respectful and concise during your comments. The first person on the list is Nicholas Opolnik.
Good afternoon. My name is Nicholas Opolnik. For nearly 6 years, I've relied on medical cannabis to manage my conditions, but I've witnessed the program's ongoing shortcomings and its failure to adequately serve the patients it was designed to help. I have suffered over a dozen concussions, one of which caused a subarachnoid brain hemorrhage, which left me with a 50-50 survival prognosis. On top of that, I have 4 fractures in my spine, which cause a host of issues with my back and mobility. As a result, pain is a constant part of my life, ranging from migraines, light and noise sensitivity, to immobilizing back spasms. Traditional medication, while significantly more affordable due to insurance, was not effective and left me with a slew of side effects worse than the conditions themselves, such as painful severe acne, memory loss, hair loss, personality changes, and a path towards addiction. Fortunately, medical cannabis has been the answer for me. It allows me to manage my pain, migraines, and other symptoms without the debilitating side effects of traditional medications. Most importantly, it lets me feel like myself again. However, the introduction of recreational cannabis sales has complicated the situation. Instead of improving access to reducing costs, we continue to face the same challenges, particularly with allotments and high prices. The current monthly allotment system is severely restrictive and leaves many patients without enough medication to manage their conditions. Medical patients should have an unlimited allotment, or at the very least, equal to that of the recreational users, which I believe are allowed to purchase 1 ounce per visit. It makes no sense that those of us using cannabis for medical purposes face stricter limitations than the recreational users. There's also a significant issue with the distribution of the dispensaries. There are far more recreational dispensaries than medical dispensaries. Even worse, some of the dispensaries that sell both have confusing menus where medical patients are forced to browse both sides just to find the selections that help them. The rise of recreational-only brands adds to this frustration, and it seems the focus is shifting away from patient care. It makes no sense that I must drive past 3, 4, or even 5 recreational-only dispensaries to get to a medical dispensary that offers less products and brands. Recreational brands should not be prioritized over patient care, and medical menus need to be clear and comprehensive. Every dispensary and every brand in the state should be required to serve medical patients, and all pricing should be regulated to ensure affordability for patients. We shouldn't have to pay different prices depending on which type of dispensary we visit, and medical pricing should not be influenced by market fluctuation or corporate profit margins. This is where the Commission must step in to ensure that the prices are controlled and fair for all medical patients. Compared to other states, our prices are extremely high, placing a heavy financial burden on patients. For some of us, like myself, this means spending 25% of our monthly income on a medicine that has been life-changing in its effectiveness. I am fortunate enough to have a well-paying job, yet I still struggle to afford my medicine due to these needlessly high prices. It is simply unsustainable. The Commission needs to step up and become an advocate for our patients. We need a medical cannabis program that is affordable, accessible, and truly patient-centered. Please take time and action to implement the necessary reforms and support the people who rely on the program. Thank you all for your time.
The next person on the list is Thomas Norcia.
I'm Thomas Norcia. I'm from GrowWorks. I'm back again, guys. I don't even know where to begin here this time. Access to metric. It's key right now. We have products that are going to expire. You guys have expiration dates. Some of us were harvesting September. We're already 45 days in. If we get access to metric even tomorrow, by the time we get packaging going with that on there, by the time we get lab tests, we're months out. It's critical. We need it now. We can't drag it on. The USDA, they brought this up to Jeff Brown 2 years ago. He laughed at it. It's not really a laughing matter. Hemp, does it? It doesn't seem like a laughing matter now, right? I could just go on and on. It's just crazy. A few months ago, you guys just brought this up, the aphids. You guys had John Kerr from USDA go into that place. You guys contacted him to talk about aphids in your program, but yet you won't talk about the USDA hemp program. There was one meeting since I brought this up over 120 days ago. You guys had one meeting with the USDA. It's like, it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable at all. Are your inspectors not educated properly? How do they not know what aphids are? Why does the USDA have to come in to check for aphids? No, your labs should have found the aphids, to be completely honest. Why didn't the labs find the aphids? It's because certain labs get paid to not find aphids? Is that how things go? There's been mold, fungus, pests in your guys' market since medical, rec. We're hemp growers. I haven't had an aphid in 5 years. I don't have mold. I know what I'm doing. I'm experienced. There's lack of experience, there's lack of education. It's kind of sad. The state and you guys failed to recognize the hemp program. Now this is going to be a forced issue with getting us together. If you guys are understaffed and underfunded, stop accepting applications until we could figure all this out. You know, it's a little bit crazy. The last 2 times I was here, you know, I was told by you guys, someone would reach out. Nobody has reached out to me. I check my email every day, check for phone calls every day. No one has reached out to any hemp grower or manufacturer directly. There's 1 meeting with John Kerr, USDA. It's not acceptable. You know, if you guys are responsible for us, you guys are going to have to do something at one point. You guys put out a statement that's saying like, it's kind of illegal, but there's no enforcement. So we're licensed. Now, what do? Go against what a law is because there's no enforcement? You guys are putting us in a very rough situation where our products are going to expire. Then what do? I just grew 2 acres of CBD. I don't know which direction to go in right now. I should already have it packaged, ready to go and out the door, which I had buyers. But with psychoactive hemp ban bill and full spectrum, now I don't know which way to go with it. This causes problems in not just hemp, in your guys' market too. You got people bringing stuff in and out of state. Psychoactive hemp ban was to control products so that it wasn't out of state and it was lab tested. Well, now people even in your program are just bringing stuff over state lines into the state. That's what's going to happen in this bill. So just think about that. I reached out. You guys have my name. You have my number. If you guys need proper education too, reach out anytime. I've emailed you guys. I can't even tell you how many times over the years. I stopped this year. You know, come out to our sites. Come see the hemp program. Experience what we're doing. See what we're doing.
The next person on the list is John Coolin. Next person after that is Robert Krigler. Next person on the list is James Schoen. Next person is Brian Cooper. Next person is Sean Mack. Next person on the list is Oscar Carrillo. Next person is Alan Truskowski. The next person on the list is Tawheed Chappell and Melanie Willoughby, but I know they spoke already. The next person is Vincent Mann.
Good afternoon. My name is Chief Vincent Mann, and that is actually who's sitting before you today. I am also the co-founder of the New Jersey Hemp Growers Association. We have actively 18 licensees who are engaged with us. One of the things that is something that has been repetitious from the hemp growers, from the hemp industry, who is actually those who are licensed in the state of New Jersey, is that we need to have access to the metric system. We need to be able to have our products grown, tested, packaged the same way that they are in the cannabis industry. We need access to that. We need to be able to, Commissioner Barker, earlier when we were driving here, we were listening to comments in the truck. And one of the things that he had brought up, we know for a fact, because when we talk about medicinal medicines, it truly is the hemp. It is our hemp plants that are high in other cannabinoids, unlike THC that is grown in the state of New Jersey, which is simply grown from high levels of THC and are missing those other very important things, which is a benefit. So when you have in this system, when a manufacturer wants to grow or wants to produce something that is a one-to-one THC and CBD, where are they getting that from? You should be directing them and telling them that they have to buy that from the people who are growing within the state of New Jersey. Also, as an email that was actually sent to Wesley on behalf of the New Jersey Hemp Growers Association, I'm just going to read this one part here. where it says, however, we will provide recommendations for shaping your eventual regulations on intoxicating hemp businesses. The current situation requires immediate attention. As stated in S3235, open quote, the Cannabis Regulatory Commission may take any anticipatory administrative action in advance as shall be necessary for the implementation of this act, close quote. To ensure that there is a legal hemp industry to regulate in 180 days, the CRC must issue temporary permits to New Jersey hemp program license holders so that they can continue to selling their full spectrum CBD products. Hemp farmers cannot afford to wait until this year's harvest at the risk of expiring due to delayed regulations. These farmers and businesses have remained federally and state compliant prior to the CREM Act and are not producing synthetic, nor are we producing intoxicating products and need protection now. The CRC has the authority to take immediate action, and we urge you to do something immediately. So knowing that you have these certain authorities, it would behoove all of us and looking towards the future of working together with the hemp industry, the licensees in the state of New Jersey, having this meeting with us, regardless of whatever legislation may possibly be out there, because we're not talking about the legislation, right? We're talking about making it so that our medicinal products are available, not just to other retailers, but to this gentleman that was sitting in the back that testified earlier, right? They deserve this medicine that we grow. And obviously I appreciate it. I don't want to go over too far, even though there's not too many other speakers. So thank you.
The next person on the list is Patrick Duff. Next person after that is Leo Bridgewater.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Leo Bridgewater. I'm here today because I'm a bit disturbed. I don't normally come out to these things a lot, but when the time comes, I do feel like this is one of those times. When I got into this, for advocating for this, Commissioner Barker was one of the first people to organize a meet with Senator Booker in introducing the Marijuana Justice Reform Act. I have seen commissioners out and about doing things, and I've received phone calls. I can't tell you how many phone calls I've gotten about Commissioner Nash. They call her the frontline person down in Camden because the people who have worked with her see her a lot. I've run into Commissioner Maria Del Sectoso talking to community folks. I've witnessed Commissioner Waynu in the parking lot of the Trenton City Hall engaging directly with constituents. I ran Sam Delgado down in downtown Trenton and actually stood with him while he was talking to legacy folks about getting licensed. And understand something, all of my comments are beyond the CRC. And I'm saying these things because this body and this staff was tasked with a nearly impossible feat. They were asked to build a plane, fly it with one hand behind their back and an eye patch. And they did it. Evidenced by the presentation given to us about the CTA. A lot of people put their blood, sweat, tears in this, and we have reached a point where you see those numbers that were just provided to us. The work is being done. Can it get better? Yes. And I am extremely offended that with all of this work, as a member of the number one hardest demographic of people hit by the war on drugs, which is Black men, the fact that there will no longer be a Black man on this commission, I find to be extremely offensive, culturally insensitive, and tone deaf. This industry was built on our backs in our lifetime. We are just coming out of 25,000 arrests a year for low-level, nonviolent, minor possession of cannabis, and 81% of those arrests look like me. You want to know if this is working? The Mercer County Workhouse is closed down. The Jones family farm no longer has any inmates. Rahway is trying to redo their population because you know why? We're no longer being arrested. So please, I don't want the cavalierness with this commission to be a thing that always happens. And I ask that that those who are listening go get registered to vote. Thank you.
The next person on the list is Todd Johnson.
Good afternoon, Chair Wainu, CRC Commissioners, Director Riggs, Director McWhite, and CRC staff. My name is Todd Johnson, and I serve as the Executive Director of the New Jersey Cannabis Trade Association. Our membership is comprised exclusively of CRC licensed cannabis businesses operating in New Jersey. Today, I am providing comments on the social equity excise fee for 2025. First and foremost, I want to express the NJ-CTA's support for the CREAM Fund, which is where CEIF-generated revenue is deposited until the governor and legislature disperse funds to social equity initiatives throughout the state. Our association wholeheartedly supports these funds being used to help right the wrongs of the failed war on drugs, and we are eager to see the positive impact these funds and associated initiatives have on impact zones and underserved communities of color. The concern I highlight today is the negative impact a significantly increased CEIF will have on operators. The current CEIF is $1.24 per ounce, and for next year, you have the authority to set the CEIF at any level up to $30 an ounce. The CEIF is charged directly to adult use cultivators, a cohort of licensees that have faced significant challenges given the capital-intensive nature of operating a cultivation facility. Increasing the CEIF by over 2,500% will increase costs for cultivators astronomically and send a shockwave through the entire supply chain. Cultivators will be forced to raise their wholesale prices to offset the increased cost. Manufacturers and retailers will then raise prices of cannabis products sold to consumers. A positive trend that we have witnessed over the past 18 months is the steady decrease in retail prices of cannabis. But make no mistake, a drastic increase in supply-side taxation will reverse this trend. Raising the CEIF to $30 an ounce will immediately cause average wholesale prices to increase a minimum of 15%. This would cause frustration directed at the CEIF and drive consumers to look for cannabis products that are less expensive and also less safe from the unregulated market. Over the last 2 years, 22 cultivators and over 100 dispensaries have opened their doors. The vast majority are independent operators, and based on the Commission's own data, 16% qualify as social equity and 70% as diversely owned. The Commission is dramatically exceeding its goal of having producers reflect the diversity of our state, and we congratulate you all on that. But a drastic increase in the CEIF will directly impact these very same licensees at a time when many are struggling to simply stay afloat during the difficult early days of any new venture's operations. The NJ-CTA commends the CRC for pausing your decision today on the 2025 CEIF in order to get more stakeholder feedback. Our recommendation and request is that for 2025, the CRC determine the desired revenue for the CREAM Fund, calculate the CEIF rate that will achieve that goal, and then increase the CEIF gradually. Please consider the harm that raising the CEEF significantly and in a short period of time will have on licensed operators in the regulated marketplace. Even a $1 increase in the CEEF equates to almost a 100% increase in over the 2024 rate. We all want to see the positive impact the Cream Fund can have on communities and individuals most harmed by the war on drugs, but we don't want that positive impact to have a negative impact on the workers and entrepreneurs that have invested in their dreams of working in New Jersey's cannabis industry. Thank you very much for your time.
The next person on the list is Roz McCarthy.
I was about to say good morning, but good afternoon. Hi, I bring you greetings. My name is Roz McCarthy. I'm the founder and the CEO of Minorities for Medical Marijuana. This organization was started in 2016 as a gateway to our communities of color and understanding social justice, social equity, health equity, and public policy as it relates to the cannabis and hemp industry. It is my pleasure to be with you here this afternoon. I have been fighting the fight, working side by side with communities to make sure that we create opportunity. First and foremost, let me commend you, New Jersey. I've been all over this country, and what you're doing is incredible. I want you to keep it up, stay focused, know that what you're doing, it matters, it has intentions. It's not perfect, but the progress that you're making and what you're doing, there's other states that are looking at it. They're looking at you. I'm taking this back to other states that I'm working with to help them. The one thing that I want to bring to your attention for today, based upon the conversation about patients, right? Your kudos to you in I almost did a flip, seriously. When I saw that you're doing a community meeting out in the community to help patients be able to get registered to get their card, it's critical. The fact that you only have 70,000 patients in the state of New Jersey, that is where we have to really look at that and we have to breathe and try to figure out why is that. And I want to tell you, M4MM has done a program called Safe Access, very similar to what you're doing. We've just funded it from a nonprofit standpoint. The issue is with patients, and the concern is that they feel disconnected and not understanding what it means to come and be able to sit down with a physician. I think there's an access point where people don't understand or don't even know what you're doing. I don't know if you're utilizing your social media, if you're utilizing other community partners, other healthcare practitioners to get the word out. I think building the patient population in the state of New Jersey will also help you to determine what are the resources and what's needed for those patients in order to support them. I know in my home state of Florida, the patients, some of the main concerns from veterans, how does this affect me carrying my guns? How does this affect me? Am I in a database? Will my information be leaked to my employer? These are some real talking points and some real education that has to happen. I think it's critically important, as well as how much can you purchase? How much can you possess? So some of the things, and my gosh, 3 minutes go so fast. So more connection with community. Town hall meetings on the benefits of being a medical patient would help support concerns. Social media channels may be able to help with outreach and education. The public engagement committee that you have inside here, I think there needs to be partnerships with other community organizations to bring them to the table. Vertical integration, in my mind, stymies product innovation and can also be a detriment to maintaining an affordable cost. Let's think about medical insurance and product insurability should be reviewed and discussed as a pathway to affordability. Medical patients' allotment and percentage of THC should be carved out and have a higher amount than adult use. And retailers should be able to support medical patients. For example, in Florida, it's 2.5 ounce for purchasing, 4 ounce for possession every 35 days. That's just a benchmark. I think you guys are at 2.93 ounces. There may be some opportunities to look at how can you increase that and how can you look at the THC level, because a patient who is in hospice, into life care, their needs are going to be very much different than adult use. Thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate you.
Ms. McCarthy, can you just please submit those comments in writing for us so we can have them? Yes. Thank you so much.
The next person on the list is Michael Odenwald.
My name is Michael Odenwald, Local Flower, LLC. The start of the meeting and the topic of approving minutes is quite applicable here. I understand that the commission has heard many a complaint on municipal challenges over its time. This may be the first of its kind. Not because a municipality opted out 3.5 years ago, but how they did it. My ask, I believe the CRC should consider voiding their ordinance submission in 2021 based on the following facts. It's a tough argument. Having a reason to look back at the meeting minutes for when they opted out, I discovered there were no minutes, no Zoom recordings, no public participation. Still to this day, there are no approved April or May minutes in 2021 to be found when an ordinance was signed by the mayor and the borough admin at the time. This is clearly would have been a violation of the Sunshine Law, which is intended at this very purpose, which is to maintain transparency. But that was 3.5 years ago. With no approved minutes anywhere to be found, there is a case to be made that the ordinance they submitted was done so under false pretense. What the mayor and borough admin signed is unsubstantiated if the CRC were to ask for it. I think you should, based on these facts. Although they did respond within 180 days, they did not submit legal documents within 180 days to validate their opt-out decision. My point, they opted in. You see, I did an economic development for the plan. Extensive data was collected to justify the projections for a dispensary in town. I have asked 9 straight months to get on the agenda to present my plan, rejected 9 times, despite 9 public comments. Next Monday will be number 10. I have a municipal CFO on record testifying that if the town were to utilize the tax revenue for just tax avoidance, aversion of property tax increases, the town would not need to raise property taxes for 10 years. That's how significant that is. And the town doesn't want to. So it's remarkable. So my question was, why are their convictions so strong not to adopt it? Well, the mayor today is still on the council, the same mayor. So those involved are good people, neighbors, but they are bad municipal leaders who intentionally, in their deceit and submission of unsubstantiated documents to a state agency. For that reason, you should consider voiding their submission based on a clear case of suppression. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
The next person on the list is Kristen Good. Next person after that is Marcus Luce.
Right. Good afternoon, Madam Chairwoman, esteemed members of the CRC, support staff, and engaged members of the public that are in attendance today. My name is Marcus Luce. I'm a farmer. I raise horses, hay, and industrial hemp. I'm the managing partner for M&S Products LLC, a returned Peace Corps volunteer, a graduate of Bellevue College, University of Washington, University of Southern California, and most recently, Rutgers University as part of their new cannabis law program, which is a long way to say I really like going to school. Lastly, since 2020, I've been a compliant cultivator in the New Jersey hemp program. I'm here today to discuss opportunity. Like many communities across the state, rural communities are in dire need of economic stimulus. Farmers in such communities are strongly encouraged to diversify production, to explore new markets, insulate against commodity-specific downturns, and to improve pasture land husbandry through biodiversity. Diversified farms have invested heavily in the industrial hemp market, are leaders in their field. Ensuring the investment and example of these farmers continues is an opportunity to showcase that New Jersey state legislatures and regulatory bodies support their efforts and encourage other farmers to follow suit. As many people here today know, compliant NJDA hemp program producers operate within an incredibly strict regulatory framework. To be sustainable, producers have to be adaptive, creative, and resilient to successfully grow compliant industrial hemp cultivars at scale here in the Garden State. As demand for legal New Jersey-grown cannabis continues to grow, established compliant NJDA industrial hemp producers present an opportunity to immediately make a positive impact on both the legal medical and recreational cannabis market supply chains. Therefore, I respectfully ask for your strong consideration of the measures suggested by the NJ Hemp Growers Association in its October 8th open letter to state legislature. Specifically, municipal approval exemption for compliant NJDA hemp licensees, continuation of sales, fast-track CRC licensing, and financial relief of Class 1 and Class 2 cultivation license fees for compliant NJDA hemp licensees. I'm available for questions if you have. If not, please let me close by expressing my appreciation for this opportunity, and I thank you for your time.
That was the last of the in-person. I'm just going to go over the names that didn't speak before I move on to the virtual speakers. John Coolin, Robert Krigler, James Schoen, Brian Cooper, Sean Mack, Oscar Carrillo, Alan Truskowski, Patrick Duff, and Kristen Good. So moving on to the virtual speakers. The first person on the list is Justin James Leone. Last four is 4147. If you're in the room, please raise your hand. The next person on the list is Douglas Adams. Last four is 2980. If you're in the room, please raise your hand. The next person on the list is Edward Grimes. If you're in the room, please raise your hand. Last four is 0682. If you would like to speak, please raise your hand. Next person on the list is John Cohn. Last four is 8083. If you're in the room, please raise your hand. Next person on the list is Samuel Reichbart. Last four is 3654. If you're in the room, please raise your hand. Okay, I see you, Sam. Sam, you have 3 minutes, and I'll give it a reminder at 1 minute, okay?
Sounds good. I would like to start today by thanking Commissioner Barker. Thank you for your passion. Thank you for always speaking up for the little guys. And thank you for being the only person in the CRC to show that you care for patients. You always made me feel heard. You're the only one who ever made me feel heard. And I'll always appreciate you for that. The rest of you guys should know how, honestly, how scared I am to have this group of people in charge of my and many other people's medicine. We're coming up on a year of me and many others trying to work on the issues we see. It's been nearly a year of being pushed to the side and ignored. And with Barker leaving, I have such little faith that things will improve. In fact, I feel they will get astronomically worse with you all heading the ship. I hope you guys have figured out a better way to actually answer our questions and concerns. The only two things on your logo besides your name is equity and safety. When will you start to care about those things? It is exhausting coming here every month and talking at you. When will someone talk to us? You've already heard about the wide range of issues that I and many others have brought to your attention. You promised us solutions were being worked on and that we would get more involvement so you could fix the issues that we see. Then you held roundtables that you denied most of us, many of us the most passionate people in this state that have been trying to work with you, from even attending those roundtables. And then you publicly announced that it was a failure and no one showed up. Well, maybe it was because you denied the people that truly wanted to be there and truly wanted to help make this program better. Because you don't care to listen to us. You only care to listen to people that might agree with you. Truthfully, you guys failed by denying the opportunity to make good on your promise of more involvement. I hope you all take a moment to reflect on this past year and take a moment to decide to do better for patients over the course of the next year and prove my many, many fears wrong. Hope you all have the day you deserve.
I see Lefty Grimes. So I'm going to give you the chance to speak.
Okay. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. I'm going to just give a reminder at 1 minute.
Yes, this is Edward Grimes. I'm with sativacross.org. We're a 501c3 here in New Jersey fighting for cannabis patients' rights and the rights of the disabled. I want to thank Commissioner Barker for pushing for the Zoom access for the disabled, for sick, dying, and disabled people. This is a huge step in making the CRC patient-focused, truly patient-focused. A lot of sick, dying, and disabled people can now take part. I don't have to drive an hour and 20 minutes with my horrible neuropathy today, so I'm actually taking less medication because of that decision that you made to make a Zoom access call out of this. So I appreciate that. You saved me some pain today. You really did. I want to also talk about disabled vets because Commissioner Barker is a huge advocate for vets. And as of right now, there's many dispensaries that disabled vets can't access. And I need the new commissioner to know this. And I need all the commissioners to know this. There's no access for many people in Maplewood, West Orange, Jersey City, Hoboken, Camden, all over New Jersey. There's steps, and a step is a wall to someone in a wheelchair. Ableism is just as bad as sexism and racism. And if you can eradicate some forms of sexism in the world, would you do it? Of course you would. If you can eradicate some forms of racism in the world, would you do it? Of course you would. Well, I'm asking you to eradicate the ableism in the dispensaries in New Jersey, and you have the power to eradicate the ableism, at least some forms of it, which is the wheelchair access. We're putting our fingers in the dam, but we need you to stop the flow. We're trying to donate ramps. We're trying to ask people to put ramps in, but there's a lot of places without wheelchair access. And I'm going to say it here again: disability rights are human rights.
1 minute.
Disability rights are human rights. There's a tax issue in the urban enterprise zones. Many dispensaries are in urban enterprise zones, and you get a tax break if you're in those dispensaries. However, if you're in a wheelchair, you can't access the same tax breaks as able-bodied people in urban enterprise zones. These are huge issues that need to be addressed, and the CRC can address all these issues. I would ask that you make a resolution right now, and someone second it, to have all dispensaries wheelchair accessible. The ADA does not go far enough because they allow buildings to be grandfathered in. And the CRC has the power to override that and make sure every dispensary is wheelchair accessible. Can we get a resolution today to help our disabled vets? Because I'm telling you, you wouldn't have your commission without disabled vets fighting for your rights. So we need you to fight for disabled vets the way they fought for you and give them wheelchair access to every dispensary. Can we get a resolution today? Thank you.
The next person on the list is Vladimir Bautista. Last four is 4950. If you're in the room, please raise your hand. The next person on the list is Matulu Olugbala. The last four is 8861. If you're in the room, please raise your hand. The next person on the list is Samuel Hilton. Last four is 7070. If you're in the room, please raise your hand.
Hello, sweetie.
The next person on the list is Safida Artis. Last four is 3447. If you're in the room, please raise your hand. Okay, I see you, Safida. 3 minutes.
Can you
The
hear me?
floor is yours. I'll just give a reminder at 1 minute, okay?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Hello, my name is Safida Artis Mills, and I am president and co-founder of the United Empowerment Party, which is a federally recognized and registered political party that focuses specifically on cannabis policy and legislation. And today I wanted to address the immediate deployment and transparent use of C funds for the state of New Jersey. The New Jersey's Social Equity Excise Fee was established to generate revenue with the express purpose of promoting equity empowerment in the state's cannabis industry. However, while this tax revenue accumulates, it remains largely unspent, preventing the fund from achieving intended goals. And I believe that New Jersey should immediately allocate these funds to ensure that the cannabis industry does not replicate the inequities of other sectors. And here's why prompt and transparent action is critical. I want to specifically touch on transparency in SEEP allocation and dedicated funding and accountability. A major concern is the lack of clarity around why SEEP funds have not yet been allocated. And this raises questions about the state's commitment to equity empowerment in cannabis. Transparency is crucial to building trust with stakeholders and ensuring that the funds are used appropriately. Stakeholders, particularly those from disproportionately impacted communities, have the right to know how these funds are being managed and when they can expect support. The lack of transparency undermines confidence in the state's ability to administer an equitable cannabis program, and it is also essential to include the community in the planning and implementation of allocating said funds. I would also suggest an oversight committee that includes members that come from disproportionately impacted communities.
1 minute.
C funds must remain in their dedicated account and not be siphoned off into other state funds or repurposed for unrelated initiatives. These funds were specifically collected to promote social equity, and any diversion of this money would be a breach of trust. Furthermore, robust mechanisms must be put in place to monitor and track the use of C funds, and detailed reports on allocation and implementation should be submitted to the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission regularly, ensuring accountability and proper oversight of the funds. Social equity is definitely not an anomaly, and I feel that there should be a comprehensive plan and how funds are allocated for community reinvestment, especially when we're talking about restoration and redemption of communities that were specifically targeted and where cannabis was weaponized against them specifically. Thank you.
The next person on the list is Damon Hanschel. Last four is 952. Oh, I'm on there.
Good afternoon, Chairwoman Huenu, Vice Chair Delgado, Ms. Director Nash, of course you, Director Barker, and you, Ms. Delacosta. I've been going through this process. I'm social equity, diversity, inclusion, minority business owned. I've been going through this process for 3 years. I started 3 years ago and have, did everything you guys asked me to do. Went through all of it. I'm still going through paperwork. And it's like every time I complete one task, it's like it's another task to complete. And I'm not financially able to do what maybe most of the big companies do and hire lawyers. So most of the paperwork and everything I have to do myself based on my knowledge and based on the information you guys have put out. So at this point now, I came to a roadblock. I submitted my rehabilitation consideration. I was under the impression last month that it would be heard, and now I'm here again another month. And I don't want to make this no reflection on all of that you guys have done already. But I just would like you guys to reconsider my rehabilitation, and I look forward to moving forward in the cannabis industry. Thank you, guys.
The next person on the list is Adam Goers. Last four is 3231. If you're in the room, please raise your hand. That's it for the virtual speakers. I'm going to go over one more time of the virtual speakers. Justin James Leone, Douglas Adams, John Cohn, Vladimir Bautista, Mutulu Olugbala, Samuel Hilton, and Adam Goers. Chairwoman Wainu, this will conclude the registered speakers we have for today's public meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Saeed, and thank you to everyone who shared their thoughts, their suggestions, and their personal experiences with us today. This concludes the business that we have before us today, and so with that, I move that we adjourn today's meeting. Is there a second?
Madam Chairwoman, I second your motion.
Seconded by Vice Chair Delgado. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Any abstentions? Motion passes. The time is 3:05 and we are adjourned today. Thank you everyone for joining us.